Jay of Stretford, Paddock. There's no brew this week. Well, there is a brew, but there's no Stephen Howson in this brew because he sold me out because he's... When I used to... Is that Weist or Eccles? I can't tell.
Langworthy.
He's over in Qatar and you're mingling with the stars. I saw a picture this morning of you with Cafu. What's going on there?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I think being mates with Rio has some perks, I guess.
I mean, I'm struggling to stay friends with you because I see Lothar Matthäus the other day, Cafu, Evra.
I can't even describe to you, right, that I had an argument with Lothar Matthäus, and do you know what I like the most? I was right, Jay. Because and it was about the German team. And I was, we had a conversation about the German team and how they're going to match up and this, that, and the other. And I said, I think he's going to play Rudiger and Schlotterbeck at centre half. And he's like, no. And he's like, he's going to play Schuler. And he's like, we had this whole thing about it. And he did me. And he did me to a point where I totally respected it. And I was gutted at the same time because it's, as a contrarian, Jay, and I know you're a bit of one yourself sometimes, you just like to think differently on occasion, right? And Lothar Matthäus broke down Schlotterbeck and he was like, what's he good at? He's good at switching. He's got 1v1 defending. He's quick. He's aggressive. He's blah, blah. He goes, do you know what he is? He goes, he's an English defender. And I was like, he's just absolutely ripped my ass here, hasn't he? And he's done it in like a really, really good way, but he's absolutely ended me here. And I was like, I got no comeback here whatsoever. And I'm like, yeah, that might be why I like him, because he's a little bit English. And I'm like, that's hanging. But either way, Schlotterbeck started, so I was right.
I was about to say that. I think that's the first time when you said that sentence there. He's done me there. I think that's the first time I've heard you say that. But then you ended it with the usual, I was right.
But I was right because Schlotterbeck started.
I need to get right. We keep saying this, me and you. Right, after this World Cup, 100%, we need to get those. Would I lie to you cards? I once had an argument with one of the greatest German footballers of all time. And I was right.
I was at an opening party of the World Cup when Ballon d'Or World Cup winning player and manager Lothar Matthäus was having an argument with me at the bar over the German national team, and he was wrong.
As I pointed out to Cafu a week later, how's this real life? Hey,
do you know what? And it's only the group stages. I think it's going to get mad as it gets later on. There's one guy. There's one guy that I need to see, and then I'll be happy.
Yes, the ultimate ledge, R9.
The only Ronaldo that anyone cares about.
100%. I think, has it all popped off since I last spoke to you? Like, everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think last time we spoke everything was all right, normal-ish. And then we had, obviously...
I was on the plane when we basically sat Ronaldo, and then the club's up for sale, and then Apple are buying us, and then Dubai are buying us. I mean, I don't want to look at my phone again.
Mate, first things first, right? I think we've not had a chance to talk to each other since the Glazers announced they're going. You were there in 2005, maybe or maybe not, doing things you shouldn't have been doing. I don't know what the statute of limitations are and then things, who cares? Protesting
I wasn't
anyway.
convicted of anything, Jay, so it was all good.
It's all good, yeah. So there you go. You can't, it's that old legal technicality. If they don't catch you, you can't
caught at the time, so nothing happened.
So yeah. There you go.
The rest of these stories are all fictional and entirely coincidental.
Yes, exactly. They're made up. So yeah, you've been protesting like some others, well, lots of others for 17 years now. What was your initial reaction when you heard that it looks like the Glazers are finally going after all these years?
One sec. I'm just going to have to interrupt you here. Ronaldo's trying to talk to me like I'm not doing a video. I'm on a call with Jay. I'm doing a video.
Bring him. Honestly. Has he not done this before him?
No.
I'm going to message
Jay.
you.
What was you saying?
Yeah, sorry. How did you feel? Someone who's been protesting for 17 years, you've been doing that. You've been at the flash mobs, you've been at the ground, you've done all that stuff, like a lot of others. How did you feel when you heard finally, it looks like this is it, the Glazers are going?
Mike Ashley said he was going for a long, long time before he went. So I don't think the sausage rolls are on order just yet. Right. I think once we start hearing about, I think what needs to, because at the moment, there is a buffet of billionaires that are buying us. From Apple to Dubai to random Americans to David Beckham to potentially fictional families in Spain. Like, there's literally just names are being pulled out of the hat by people left, right, and centre, right? So we could be getting bought by everyone and anyone until someone pops their head above the parapet and goes, yes, that's me. I don't think we can get excited. Once someone comes out and identifies themselves as a serious bidder, and I'm not talking people who used to own Carlisle here, who pretended that they had money, the bids were in, the money was pledged, and all they needed was the Glazers to say they would sell, and then the Glazers said they would sell, and he's like, yeah, I'm not bidding. We don't need fictional idiots like that. We need genuine, serious people that are going to put their hand in the pocket and could actually run a club without running it into bankruptcy. So I think once someone does that, that's the time to order the sausage rolls. Until then, it's a pure wait-and-see game. Because, like I said, I think the Glazers could definitely be part of the Mike Ashley playbook, which is tell them we're selling and quiet them down for a bit. But what gives me a little bit of hope is they haven't done this before in 17 years, and there's been protests pretty consistently for 17 years. So the fact that this is happening, and did Ronaldo do this? No, he didn't, right? Let's not pretend Cristiano Ronaldo saying some truths that have been said by Jose Mourinho to players, to fans, to all sorts of pundits. Ronaldo saying that probably didn't even move the needle for the Glazers. I think there's a combination of things happened. The global recession is a mad one. Interest rates is another one. The collapse of the Super League, I think, is a major one because I think they were integral to the setting up of that. And I actually think Liverpool announcing that they're up for sale has probably moved the needle way more than anything else. Because football clubs and the type of people who've, one, got the money to buy football clubs and two, are interested in buying football clubs, it ain't a big queue. You know what I mean? You're probably talking a handful of people that are willing to do that sort of stuff. So Liverpool being out there, Chelsea just being out there, how many serious owners and bidders have you actually got for Manchester United, which is probably going to, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes for $10 billion, right? I think it's going to be that size of a deal. If you remember what happened in 98, United were valued at somewhere in the region of 300 million, and the offer that Sky eventually ended up putting in that was accepted valued the club at somewhere like 580 million. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the price just go through the roof over this. And the eventual figure, when it includes wiping the debt out, to be close to 10 billion. I think it could be that weighty. So the sort of person that's got that sort of dosh, mate, there ain't a lot of those people. Certainly not in the 016 one. So
funny you say that though, because I know he's not in the 016 one anymore, but one of the sort of the popular names that's been bandied about that everyone seems to be almost, wishing or willing into existence is Jim Ratcliffe. Jim Ratcliffe coming in as a potential owner. Do you have a preference? Is it Jim Ratcliffe? Do you look at anyone and go that they would be good owners, that would be good owners, or are you just waiting to see what happens?
My preference is the fans, Jay. I just think that's an absolute pipe dream at the moment. What sort of absolute lunatic is gonna? I mean, Bill Gates probably could, and Jeff Bezos probably could, but I don't think they're. If they was lifelong United fans, and I mean lifelong, grew up on the Stretford end, you'd have half a chance. But when there's not really any sort of material connection to them, even if they just watch us on telly, it's not enough. Yeah. For someone to invest $10 billion circa and then give it away, there isn't a person out there doing that. And that's what it would take. It would take an individual or a consortium that then somehow managed to sell it back to the club, either in a membership scheme or like the fan share schemes. Even a 50%, I just don't see happening. The 50+1 kind of thing, the model in Germany. That would be my dream, is if something like that could come together. But the complexity of that and the figures involved probably prohibit that even happening. So outside of that, you've got two options. You try and find some sort of an ethical billionaire, and do they exist? You have some sort of consortium with the likes of a David Beckham as the front man for it, or potentially the Class of 92 as a front man for it, and hope that they would have enough power to keep it running properly as a football club and not become Disneyland 2.0. Or you go, fuck it, let Dubai buy us and win the fucking lot, Jay.
I want to ask you this though, Steve. Would you have an issue, or how much of an issue would you have if we became, sports washing FC like our noisier than ever neighbours? Would that put you off?
I have to delete a hell of a lot of tweets. No, fundamentally no. But at the same time, I almost kind of think like, not that I have a decision in this.
Yeah.
What I didn't want the club to be bought by the Glazers, and the 17 years they're still fucking here, mate.
Yeah.
So it genuinely doesn't matter what you are. I think really. So would I like it? No. Would I stop going because of it? No. I don't want Manchester United to be the PR front of Dubai. I was in Dubai on Wednesday. It's a lovely gaff, right? And I'm going to be there again tomorrow. But I don't want a country to own my football club. If it's some bloke from Dubai, Saudi Arabia, he's just wedged up and he made his money on fucking selling pipes or something. Mint, crack on. Especially if he's a red. No, I've got no dramas with that whatsoever. The same way as if it was Jim Ratcliffe, all right, he happens to be from Failsworth. Can't be many billionaires from Failsworth. In fact, I'd probably go as far to say I'm very confident in saying he's probably the only billionaire to come from Failsworth. But they're just not a lot of people who grew up on the Stretford end.
Bold statement, that Steve. Steve, you've said some outrageous things in your time, and I think that might be the most outrageous.
I've got a side quest for all the viewers. Go and find me another billionaire that came from Failsworth. In fact, find me another billionaire that came from the city of Manchester.
You could widen that. I was about to say you could probably do that. So at least you can include.
I'll take anywhere inside the M60. Yeah, anywhere inside the M60. There might be some from all.
There's a challenge for it. It's a new segment. Challenge.
Yeah, billionaires from Clayton, Cheetahville. There'll be a couple of crafty ones that you've not thought of. They've got the fingers in like fucking steel shipping or something mental that you've never thought of. Or one of them invented an app or something, right? But there's not loads, is my point.
No, yeah. I hear you.
So someone asked me a question on a live I did, and they said, if it was a choice of Liverpool get bought out by like a public investment fund of a sports washing country, or United do, what are you saying? I'm saying fucking bring it on. Like, you're already competing against Abu Dhabi FC. You're basically competing against Saudi Arabia FC. If Liverpool end up getting bought out by one of those as well, how do you compete? The sport is over.
I hear you. I mean, I've said if it's sports washing, I'm probably going to stop going. That's just me. I don't blame anyone for having a different attitude, but that's different to a rich man from that country buying us or a rich woman from a country like that buying us. And I think you have to take each case on its merit and not just put all of them together and go, anyone from a Gulf state is sports washing, because that's just not the case at all. And that's nonsense. And I think there's a danger of doing that.
I think the public investment funds, that's that. If you're owned by the country, then that's that. But if you're owned by, like I said, just a Keith and Mike from fucking Dubai, then
that's there's no need to get anyone to question that. Just while obviously you're out there, I don't know if you've had the same sort of stories where you are over in the World Cup, but in England, the sort of stories have been centering around a lot of them about the rainbow issue, shall we say. Now, we're recording this before the England game, so I don't know what's going to go on there, but there was the whole armband sort of drama. They were going to wear it, then they weren't. Then FIFA said, you do it, you're going to get a yellow. So they basically bottled it. Then Germany covered the mouths, and then Louis van Gaal said they shouldn't have done that, and Eden Hazard said we're not going to do that. It just seems to have been a massive story over here. What's it like over there? Is there much talk about the sort of these rainbow campaigns or what's happening in terms of LGBT rights or anything like that?
No, I saw Harry Kane has worn a watch with a rainbow face. Now, is that supporting gay rights, or is that him flexing that he's got a £500,000 watch? Like, I can't compute that this is any sort of protest with his £500,000 watch. That is the most footballer thing I could ever think, and the most out of touch thing I think anyone could ever do. Let me protest against the migrant worker issue and gay rights by wearing a Rolex with diamonds on it.
Yeah, I think
All right.
I'm not often to say this, but I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt there and think that he's just wore a watch, like you said, that's got a bling on it that looks
Yeah,
a bit
it probably has
colourful.
because it's ludicrous otherwise. No, there's not a lot of the conversation going on here. I have seen people. I saw a guy that was asked to take his shirt off. That was bollocks. I don't know what the script would be in terms of holding banners and flags up. There's so much security, and there's so many police. Like literally, you can see that's where the money has gone. I mean, there's literally people everywhere helping you out, almost like directing you, explaining where to go, and that sort of stuff. So what that leads to, as we know, when it's stewards, is stewards aren't going to let you fly anything that they don't like. They don't let you throw a Glazer flag up at United. It's the exact same sort of stuff here. Definitely don't agree with it. Don't know what you do about it though. I really don't know what you do about it because they're not going to change.
No.
The alcohol issue. Loads of people have been asking about the alcohol issue. I had a beer yesterday in the ground watching the game, but it was a Bud Zero. Obviously, Bud Zero. I think they're a World Cup sponsor, aren't they? So everyone's like, "Oh, how much was it?" Joe, what, to be honest with you, I have no idea because I'm struggling with the currency conversion here at the moment. So I have no idea.
Ronaldo not help you out? Hey,
Are you
Ronaldo
joking,
Brown.
right? Help me out. I have no idea.
He can't
so
convert English into English money.
But Bud Zero tasted exactly the same as a regular Bud. I was only having a couple anyway, so it's not like I was getting off my nut. I had a couple of Bud. It tasted exactly the same as a normal Bud. It was refreshing. It was cold, which for me is the most important thing. And it was happy days. I don't need a beer to go to the game. No. I can't believe how many people have got the knickers in a twist over whether you can have a beer or not. Like,
it's not. Have a beer, you know what, though? Like, listen, obviously I don't drink, but it's like last season. You know,
that's more of an issue if Red Bull was banned.
No, yeah, you wouldn't even be there if Red Bull was banned. Let's have it right. You wouldn't even got on that plane. Yeah, but it's like Madrid last season. I was at the Madrid game, and the beer in the away end was 0.1%. So that ain't getting you drunk, no matter if you drunk 12 gallons of it. Like, do you know what I mean? It happens at other places, but I think obviously it's had a light shone on it because the World Cup. Just before you go, because I know you're time's precious. You've watched a lot of games over there, whether that's in the game, in the ground, or just on the telly, whatever. Who stood out for you? Which team stood out for you? Any players that have stood out for you? You've gone, didn't see that
Korea impressed the shit out of me yesterday, despite, and everyone's just going to comment, there was no shots on target. No, there wasn't, but they still impressed me. Like, I thought they were lacking in the final third for sure, but their build-up play, the control, the technical ability was mint. Same with Japan, and actually the same with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia didn't do a smash and grab job on Argentina. They beat them. England were very good.
Yeah.
Portugal at times looked very good, but also a bit sloppy defensively, worryingly, because I thought that Diogo Costa could be a real option for United, but a couple of clangers there. I'm trying to think. They've done so many games that you just can't compute them all. France looked mega. I think it's too early to call any of the winners. Now, obviously, we're just about today, aren't we, to just get back into the second round of games?
Yeah.
So I'm off to the England game later, England-America. I did have a chance to go to Wales-Iran, but it just been absolute chaos. So moving 2 games in a day, I don't think it's going to be possible. Some fans are going to be able to do it, but with having to come to here and then film and do all sorts of other shit as well, not going to happen. So I had to skip that one. I'm a bit gutted as well because I did want to go watch Wales. Obviously, especially if Dylan Levy gets on, which, let's be honest, probably isn't going to get on. But I did want to go watch Dylan and Wales. But not getting the opportunity to do that. I was going to Mexico, Argentina tomorrow, which I was definitely looking forward to because that's going to be it's a must-win game for them both. But I've got to go and hang out with Evra in Dubai instead.
You're joking. You got to go to Dubai and hang out with Evra?
Yeah.
Bro.
The slogs that we have to do for work, eh?
There's a little link I'm going to put in the description of just giving for Steve to help him out. Do you know what I mean? Because in his time of need, missing the game to go and hang out with Evra in Dubai. It's a tough.
Tickets. I'm sure if you're watching the games, you can see the stadiums are not rammed out, and tickets have been pretty easy to come by, to be honest. And actually, I haven't when I've spoken to anyone, I haven't had any touts go bananas with prices. Every match that we've got has been at face value, which you can't argue with that, to be honest.
No, it was a similar-ish thing when we was in Brazil. I remember getting a ticket for the was it Holland-Spain game just before kickoff for face, like, and I mean literally like just 2 minutes before kickoff. Bro, it's always good chatting to you. Hopefully we can do this again soon. You know, we can fit me in between Cafu and Lothar Matthäus and Patrice Evra and obviously Rio Ferdinand and all the other absolute legends you're hanging around with. I take it you've been doing the usual scout reports and all that stuff on your channel as well.
I've written a couple. I haven't had a chance to film them just yet. But yeah, mostly the vlogs, and the vlogs have been going down quite well because obviously we're showing you a little bit of the matches, but I'm showing you a little bit, you know, what it's like traveling on the trains. I'm trying to be balanced because it's me. Like, I don't, you know, obviously I'm not exactly someone that the World Cup or whoever was like, let's get him to do our PR. Like, you know, it's not the sort of I'm not on that list. I don't think of people that they get to do that. So I'm here just as me. Obviously, I'm here out here working for 5, but I have like 2 videos a week to do for 5. So I've got loads of spare time to go and do whatever I need to do. And I thought I'll try and give as honest a report as I can. So we went to the fan zone for the opening game. It was fucking carnage. I'm showing you that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not trying to say everything's great or everything's terrible. Some things are good. Some things haven't been good. I think it's going fairly smooth, aside from that fan zone where I think 80,000 turned up and it was only meant for 40. Now, I don't know what you do in that situation. And I think you do what they did and they just closed it and didn't let us in.
Fair enough.
So I think it was all right inside. I mean, there was some talk that there'd been some people hurt at first, but I've not managed to find out anyone that, you know, any truth to that. I think it was just a rumour that started amongst the people that were outside in terms of that. This is why we can't get in almost. But I've not seen anything like that. The trains work. I mean, everything's clean because everything's fucking brand new. You know, the stadiums feel all right. The only drama I would say is, like, it's very heavily reliant on the metro system to get in and out of games. Like, if you wanted a taxi or an Uber or whatever like that, fuck that noise. That's going to be mayhem. And they close the roads for hours around it as well. And we live a few hundred meters from the Lusail Stadium. So, like, 2 out of 3 days when there's a game on, we're fucked for moving around because, like, the metro's rammed with people and you can't get cars in there. So if you want to move around, you've got to move around in the morning because when there's a game on at the stadium, you're in the shit, basically.
Well, I'm sure you're coping anyway, bro, because, you know, you are a bit of a soldier, aren't you, literally. We'll see you. When are you back anyway? When are you back in Blighty?
Like, the day before we play Burnley.
Got that. And then we're in Dublin. We're in Dublin for that event, so it's all happening, eh? Listen, we'll catch up before then. Make sure you go and check out.
Doing some tanning, though. Don't look like it in this light, but I've been doing some tanning. And not a lot of it either. Just the occasional little bit of time by the pool. Like, oh, yeah, go on.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've had enough of you already now. With your days by the pool, you're chilling with Cafu, arguing with Lothar Matthäus, going round for tea at Patrice Evra's house. Do you know what?
I've not been to the beach yet. That's on my to-do list. There's 2 things that I need to do in the next few days. I mean, I'm in Dubai tomorrow, so this weekend's fucked, right? But then Monday, Tuesday next week, there's 2 things that are on my to-do list. One is get to the beach, and number 2 is get Ronaldo Brown to an aquarium.
Is he there? Is he there, Ronnie? Has he gone?
He's run the other side of the table.
Right, let's not confuse him then. Right, Steve. Make sure you go
enjoy.
Out.
See you in a bit. Go on.
Sorry, I missed
you.
No,
I was just saying, yeah.
Right, yeah. Make sure you go and check out Steve's blog. The vlogs, even, they are amazing, proper funny as well. And also, like he said, he's not working for the Qatari tourist board, so you're getting a real slice of what's happening out there in the World Cup. Make sure as well you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. That's been Steve Howson. I've been Jay Motty. This has been a catch up with him in Qatar, chilling with all the legends. Thanks for watching.